I may very well have today joining me the two best looking women in Bradley County, Erica Davis and Charlotte Peak. It's going to be a great discussion. So, what's the topic?
Dealer's
The
choice.
discussion.
Yeah, dealer's choice.
Well, one thing that comes to my mind is you're both business women, which is not unusual, but it is. I mean, you both seem to be big into business, and is this something that you wanted to do, or is it something that you just ended up doing? What do you think?
You can take it first.
Well, when I was in college, I graduated with a business degree, and so I always knew that I wanted to do something in business. My mom and I started a pet bakery and boutique when I was younger, and did that for a little while. And then I went back and got my master's degree, and then ended up in trucking because my husband James was already in dump trucking, so decided to take that over about 3 years ago. We still partner together, but he's more on the maintenance side and I'm more on the logistics side of things. So I'm glad that it ended up the way that it did. I don't know that I started out thinking, oh, I'm going to be running a trucking company, but it's worked out very well.
And you'd rather do that as be I guess, just a stay-at-home mom?
Well, I love being able to work and hang out with my kids. I mean, this job is flexible to where I can be their personal Uber driver in the afternoons because they play so many sports and do so many things after school. So I kind of get the best of both worlds.
You wake up in the morning and say, okay, now, what all do I need to get done before I have to take the kids?
I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning with a driver calling me, telling me something's going on. So my brain's going 9 to nothing as soon as I wake up.
On the Courthouse Square at 30 2nd Street is the law firm of Logan Thompson Law. Since 1965, they have served the legal needs for the good citizens of Cleveland, Bradley County. If you've got a problem, they're no problem. Give them a call.
Been in the building business, we get gravel all the time. And we don't know behind the scenes what all they have to deal with, and they don't know what all we have to deal with. And it's mind-boggling to see how it all works, doesn't it, during the day?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Charlotte will call me and say, I need some rock. And I'm like, okay, Charlotte, well, it's going to be a little while because I can't just get it right now.
we don't know. We don't know we need it till right now.
No.
I mean, 2 hours is fine. 3, you know.
Oh, no. Sometimes we have to schedule a day in advance. But I understand. Now I've started being more flexible and cognizant of what I need the next day. So I'll give her heads up.
I always let the Bobcat, whoever needs the gravel, I let them order it.
Right.
And it works better. And I let them order it from however or whoever they want. Because they've got time. They got more time than me to, if they know they need it, they need it.
Well, most of the time that's how I used to do it. But then I built Erica a garage.
So now you
So
got.
I was like, I need to patron her. So now
But
I call the order.
But I mean, even if I bought it from her, it'd be
Yeah.
the Bobcat guy or the
But
backhoe
she'll do
guy.
more for me than she will
Yeah.
for the Bobcat guy.
Well, there's just a lot more that goes into it. I mean, we do haul gravel, but we work for TDOT. We haul liquid asphalt in the big liquid tankers. We have stockpile dump trailers. So, 10 years ago, it was a lot easier to call and say, hey, I need a load of gravel in an hour. But now you got to figure out where everybody's going and what they're doing. So.
Plus, help is, all of the subs that I use, they really don't have any new help. It's just the old help they've had, and a subset of that. It's really different, isn't it?
It is. They're trying to teach. I've noticed, though, it's more family coming on to those businesses with the subs. With my older subs, it's their family that they're teaching. They can't find anybody new to teach the trade to.
Somebody that knows trades is born with it, I believe. They're just born with it. There's really not any teaching. They're just born knowing how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know too many people that just jump into one of these businesses.
They couldn't understand it. I don't think. What do you think? You notice the difference between truck drivers? Can you about tell who would be a good truck driver before they start driving?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can you tell a good plumber before he's kind of the way he gets out of the car and the way he gets his tools out?
Well, I've only dealt with 2 plumbers my entire career, so
But
but yeah, you could, yeah.
I can usually tell by their hands.
Well, I used to do that, but my plumbers wear gloves,
Yeah, nowadays.
so now they're clean. You really can't tell much by it anymore.
Well, a good carpenter,
Leather, rough.
he has thumbs that'll bend back nearly to his wrist
Yeah,
for
Bill
some
Bell.
reason. A good plumber will be heavy in the hips.
Or you see his butt crack.
Yeah, one or the other. But it is weird that in this business you get to knowing kind of who can do certain things that are just gifted with that skill.
When they open their mouth,
Yeah.
you can pretty much tell.
Do you think that building now is different than it was? Like, when did you say, hey, I'm going to build houses?
95.
So that'd be how many years ago?
I don't even know, but I was working for you.
15 years.
Different
hanging
contractors
wallpaper, yeah.
previously, and then y'all would teach me how to do other
Yeah.
things, like, hey, I need this done on the job site, and I would do it.
Is there more to it than you realized then? Obviously.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
But back then, no. If you asked me to do something, I learned to do it. Or you taught me how to do it.
But these contractors, I mean, the construction business now is different than it was in early 90s,
Oh, yeah.
or even when I was back in the mid 80s. It's just the customer's different. Most of the subcontractors are different. It's just different.
Everybody wants a cheap vinyl house with vinyl floors and Formica tops, but they don't want those items. They want the price of those items, but they want the Taj Mahal for the same square footage price.
And you know, square footage price is so ambiguous because, you know, granite countertops probably adds $2 a square foot to the whole house. You know,
And then-
unless you get the DuPont edges, and then that raises it another.
And that's outdated
$2
too now, but
It's coming. The DuPont edges are coming back in.
it also depends on the plan, the house plan they send you, what your roof system looks
Yeah.
like. I mean, you could have double the house and a roof system and it just be attic space.
You know, the average square foot since they've been recording it is 1,650 square feet, and I think we're moving back to that. You know, it was smaller, got large. I think it's meeting the middle again.
What were you building a square foot in the 80s?
I remember eating at the Old Fort, or it used to be Stadfield's or Cherokee Restaurant at the time, and they were saying that Larry Hall had $23 a square foot in the house, and half the table did not believe him.
Wow.
That was so high. So the first building I built was
Wow.
it was $28 a square foot. The apartments on 20th Street, and I don't guess you could replace the carpet in them for much cheaper than that.
No.
Load of gravel was $275,
Wow.
$45 haul bill. But why do any of this? Why not just? I mean, why do any of it?
Why do any of what?
Any of this work period?
What else would we do? Be bored? Still be in politics?
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing.
We're in politics behind the scenes. We're running
Well,
more
sure,
than you think.
sure. Oh, I'm sure. Do you think? What I'm thinking is because you're women in business and you were women in politics, that you must be somewhat of a stronger mind type people.
I've been called that before.
Stronger mind?
We've been called worse.
Yeah. Karens? Not Karens, right? You're familiar with the term Karens?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, my kids tell me, Mom, please don't be a Karen.
Do you ever go up to a place of business and something goes wrong and you let them have it?
I mean, I try to be polite about it if there's something wrong. I mean, we all know how hard it is to find help. And so even if you're going out to a restaurant, it's probably the same thing. It's probably hard for them to find help. You've got to have a little bit of
Finesse.
patience, you know. But there are times where you need to let people know, hey, this is not going the right way.
How come?
I mean,
You're just-
Expectation.
but you're just eating. You'll be gone. You'll have it digested in 2 or 3 hours. What's the point?
well, I used to be a server, you know, whenever I was in college, and so I feel for those people that are serving food, and I always try to leave them a good tip because I know that they make a low hourly wage and that their families are depending on those tips, you know. So whenever we're out to eat, I mean, we try to be as gracious as possible because I've been there before.
I'm bad to just ignore the waiters and waitresses. I'm there for a reason, and I don't even, whatever they bring me is fine. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to eat it and
Yeah.
be gone. I don't even know how much it was. I'm just,
Yeah, I thought you might have been talking about my suppliers and other people. So yeah, I do give them feedback when I don't get what I want when I want it, or if it's not correct. I mean, there's no excuse
Yeah.
sometimes for the supply houses being off or sending you something totally different or not on time.
I'm getting a lot of that lately.
Yeah, and that goes back to their employees, but they're not my employees. They're their problem, not my problem. So, yeah, I'll tell my rep feedback. I'm polite about it most of the time. But if you read my text, you'll think I'm not.
You can't go with the text. They can come across
Yeah.
so wrong, can't they?
But
Yes.
you'd only have a split
I mean-
second. Like Eric and I, we know when we shoot a text real quick that we're both busy. It's not going to be sugar-coated. It's
Yeah.
going to be straight and to the point.
Yeah.
And we don't get offended because we know that. It means nothing. And our reps should know that.
Yeah, I think they do. But I remember, what I remember is years ago, it was the same delivery guy, the same driver, the same guy that was loading the truck. He knew he knew a good bit of the jobs you were on. He could drive to every job you got. He knew when you were about ready for this or about ready for that. And, you know, I remember I called years ago, I called the concrete guy and I said, it was Tommy Farmer. He would always eat at Hardee's every morning, breakfast. And he said, I can't come tomorrow, Dee. I can't do it. And I said, Tommy, you got to come. He said, I can't come. I said, okay. So the next day I'm up, I drive by about 10 o'clock, drive by the job, and there was Tommy. He had it poured. I said, Tommy, I didn't know you was coming today. He said, oh, I was able to get here. And I said, I didn't call the termite guy. We've not treated it for termites. He said, oh, he was at the restaurant, Hardee's, and I had him come up here and treat it before he left.
Yeah.
You know, and sure enough, he did because I got a termite letter from the guy. So that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
That sort of thing.
Nobody looks out for the other person on the job
No.
or to see if this is done before they start anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. And if you start depending on that, you're in trouble. Because something goes wrong anyhow. But I'm so burnt out of building. You burnt out?
No.
You
I
love it
still
or
like
something?
it. Yeah, I still like it.
What about you?
I still like trucking. I mean, it's not an easy business to be in, but, you know, I think that we've built we have built good relationships with the people that we work with. And so, you know, I'm excited that we've grown so much, and, I mean, there's a bright future ahead.
Do you to me, one of the worst jobs for in the gravel business would be number one, are the tanks filled up with gas? Because you'd have to stop and do that every day, right?
We have our own fuel tank at our shop, So the guys fill up before they ever leave the yard for us.
Every trip?
Every
Every
day.
morning, every
Every
day.
day, yeah. But, I mean, we haul a lot of asphalt. And so we're, delivering gravel, but we're hauling asphalt. We're delivering the liquid that goes into the asphalt, and then we deliver the gravel that helps make the asphalt. So we kind of are part of every circle of that.
Do you have to clean the trucks out after you deliver hot asphalt?
They do.
So that's a hosing down, that sort of thing?
There's stuff that they can use at the plant to clean them out, and then we can put diesel in the beds to help it not stick.
At the end of the day? So that's another thing nobody sees,
Right.
even if it's raining.
Well, you can't haul asphalt in the rain.
I mean,
so,
if it starts raining about 4 o'clock, all of a sudden,
yeah, you just gotta wait and keep that load on until the rain stops.
have y'all bought asphalt from this new company? I guess they're new out on South Lee Highway. What's the name of that? It's got a long name, Asphalt Company.
Manhattan Materials.
Manhattan Materials, yeah.
That's Jonathan and Sarah Cantrell.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, we haul for them sometimes.
Yeah.
They're great people.
We got some from them here. I guess it was Kenny that was working there.
Yeah, he runs the asphalt plant.
Well,
Oh,
he's-
behind Bradley Tank and Pop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he's really nice, isn't he? I mean, he's really nice. So, are y'all both? Did you say you're out of politics now, or you're still in it?
We're behind the scenes.
So you're like wagging the dog,
We help make some
the
decisions.
tail
We'll say
that wags
that.
the dog.
Yeah.
Are you going to get back in politics?
Debatable.
When people get into politics, it's hard for them to get out. They just always want to get back in. Like Cher singing. She wants to have it. She's going to have a new song.
It's a thankless job, I'll tell you that. There's no reason that we should be in it, but we just see so much stupidity since we're out that you want to just scream and
Would the stupidity be could you argue the stupidity? Could it be that there's a different view?
sometimes, but most of the time, no. They just don't have enough experience. Kind of like the SPCA deal that just went down, and I was very vocal about my opinions on
Oh
that.
yeah, I hadn't kept up. I mean, I've been keeping up with that a little bit. It'll happen.
I hope so.
I know it'll happen.
The SPCA needs a new facility. Like I mentioned earlier, I've loved animals forever. My mom and I owned a pet bakery and boutique when I was younger, and so it was kind of a natural progression whenever I was on the commission to help out the SPCA. But it was disheartening to watch that unfold from behind the scenes because when you're sitting up there, you hear all of the constituents come and talk to the commission about animal control and how we need this and that. Well, that was their opportunity to give them a new piece of land for a state-of-the-art facility, and they denied that.
And it wasn't even going to be a taxpayer burden. I mean, it was all donated. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And the commission had the opportunity to do the right thing since they had already voted to sell the property to them and then not rezone it. That was just the most ignorant thing. We are the laughing stock of Tennessee, the full commission.
Maybe somebody watching this can step up and give them a piece of land, and maybe it can be in the city.
Well, I believe it's going to be worked out.
Yeah.
I believe it, maybe. But the problem is putting that facility where you've got septic tanks. Or sewer one. That's always a problem, isn't it? Septic is always a problem, and sewer.
Well, it actually was not on that piece of property a problem. They let constituents and people that were not qualified to speak about that give presentations that they had no idea what they were discussing. So recently we had actually TDEC come out, and they, with the soil map scientist, again went over that property and checked their perk holes and everything.
David Myers.
Yes, David Myers and TDEC. and everything was on the up and up. There were no discrepancies, so everything that they allowed the regular taxpayer out there to present were all fake and lies. So they based their opinions off of bad soil and called it wetland, called it everything else, and it was BS. So TDEC is sending a letter because they weren't happy either, and neither was David Myers, because it was defamation on their characters and the soil map itself.
Well, the soil map was good. It was good for it. I saw it, and so it was good for that. But boy, we got to have somebody take care of the animal, do the animal thing. I mean, you got to have the pound's been around probably longer than any office there is. When you say that animal control was one of the oldest government things.
Well, animal control's in the city, and then SPCA is,
But
you
still,
know, a
it's
shelter.
it's a control of the animals.
Right, right.
Gotta
Well,
have it now.
You got to have it. But I think they'll take care. I think there's some people working behind the scenes that will get that done. But being on the county commission, one thing that always annoyed me is how they went around and had every district give their update on their. To me, that who had to hear that? I mean, to me, that was annoying. All they did was say, well, we want to thank the road department for unstopping the ditch for this boater that I have here.
We both agree with that
I mean,
statement.
it's just no point. Who cares about that?
It's just part of it, I guess.
Well, I mean, why don't they just stop it? Just not even do that. Just talk about the issues and vote on the issues. Why do I care what you've done for your district?
You need to ask Tom Carr that at breakfast.
Well, Tom,
Maybe he'll
is Tom
listen to
for
you.
it, or is he just following the tradition of it?
Tradition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
following the tradition of it.
Tom's a good friend of mine. So how many commissioners are on the board?
14.
14, good gosh.
2 per district.
Do you know my dad ran for county commissioner and won? And you know, he put up his campaign slogan was, he didn't put up any signs because he didn't have any money. But he said he was doing it to keep Brandon County clean. And he ran with no signs and got more votes than Randall Fisher, which was he was the
Big name.
he was the big name. I think he got 6 more votes than him. That was when they picked the top 2 or whatever.
Right.
So that was a big deal. Let's see, the next election, who's running for it?
In 2 years.
Or what, this November?
That's city. The city will have half of theirs up for re-election, and then next year, the rest of the city, and then the entire county.
You know, without a newspaper anymore, you don't know all this stuff. You just don't know it. You don't sit at night and look up Facebook and see what's new in Cleveland. I mean, you see who's had a birthday, but you're not going to see when the commission's meeting. That's a real problem.
Well, now they rely on social media to get all of that out, which isn't a bad thing, but you're right. I mean, there isn't a paper anymore, so if you don't have social media, then you're not in the know of what's going on.
Yeah, the paper's
And
just
even
a
if
few
you are,
days.
you're just getting fed who you're following or something.
Right.
You're not going to see the SPCA's got voted down for the. I mean, I saw something on that, but I didn't read it all. But
I get the banner stuff, but that's because I subscribe to it.
will you
I
read it
like
online?
local. Yeah.
And
I like
I
local.
read it online too.
I don't even get it. I don't even get it anymore.
That's another thing I just said. I stay local. We both stay local in Cleveland. Everything we do, our suppliers, everybody's here. We like local
Are y'all for
vendors.
like Chamber of Commerce?
Uh-huh.
Y'all members of Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything local. She may go to Chattanooga, I don't know, but I don't go to Chattanooga for anything. I don't even get a 2x4 from Chattanooga.
Well, anymore, everything's getting to be on Amazon, isn't it?
I don't do Amazon
Golly, it's
for that kind of
unbelievable.
thing either, just a few things, but basically I stay downtown in a bubble. 3-mile radius.
3 miles. Not even much out in the county?
No, I don't go anywhere unless my job is there, which she's way down Spring Place Road. So.
Yeah, you're way down on Buck's Pocket
Almost.
or Fort.
We're in Old Fort.
Old Fort.
Yes.
Which Old Fort is really technically between Bradley County and Polk County.
Yes.
It's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I have 3 houses in Old Fort right now.
That you're building?
Yes.
Boy, that's a long way.
It's really not, though, from my office.
One time I was
15 to her
renovating
house.
Chatsworth Housing Authority.
Okay.
I was renovating it and building a house on Anderson Cabin Road, the very end of the road. It was like an hour away. That's when the cell phones, you had the brick, and they sort of worked and sort of didn't. And I got a call at that house, and they said, well, it's sort of a long story, but so on this housing authority, the Georgia Housing Authority, it was a HUD funded, and you couldn't have anybody on the job that was not listed on your list with insurances for them. So the guy that was in charge of the authority there said, Dee, what would you do if I told you I had to have this done in 2 days? I said, well, I'd wait till you weren't looking and I'd get a bunch of people over here and we'd finish this thing. And he said, okay. Well, so that's what I did. So when I was out here on Anderson Cabin Road, I got a call and said, he's fell through the roof onto the floor and we're headed to the hospital, and the phone went out.
Oh my goodness.
So I got from Anderson Cabin Road all the way to Chatsworth, Georgia in like, I don't know, it was a record time. And the guy was in a room that had a double swinging doors, and he never heard the guy fall, and we never told him. I never will forget. I think that guy passed away now. It's the reason I can tell that story. But anyway, my point was, it was a lot of traveling. You can't even get now from it would take me longer to get from here to the Village Mall than it would be for me to get from here to probably Riceville.
Just because of all the traffic.
Just the traffic and the stoplights. And when I first started driving, I could go from the Village Mall to Farm Lane Corners, which was not there, and not stop because I could time the red lights just right.
You could probably ride your bicycle faster. Are you still doing that?
Yeah. I'm faster than I was on that one race.
First Habitat for Humanity ride?
Boy, I was so tired.
Your legs were wobbly.
Oh, man.
I got you a banana.
And I don't even eat bananas. I can't stand bananas, but I ate that one. But, yeah, I'm riding a lot now.
Well, you did pick a 5-mile ride for your first ride.
No, it was 64 miles.
For the first time
The
that you
first
rode?
time.
Oh, was it?
64
Wow.
miles, and I had a cheap bike with those gears right here.
And it was his first ride.
Yeah.
I
get
didn't
back
advise it.
Till about 2 o'clock. But anyway, I've gotten a lot. Y'all exercise?
A little.
Where at? Home or
Wall
what?
Pilates.
Wall Pilates.
She works out.
Where do
I
you
don't
work
have
out?
I go to Body by Hannah and
Oh, yeah.
Orange Theory.
Is that 2 different places?
Yes.
Why? 2 different places.
I work out with a personal trainer at Body by Hannah. It's just a different experience than
yeah.
working out with a whole group of
Yeah.
people.
My wife used to go to that guy. I can't remember his name. Doug or Douglas. Boy, personal trainer's different than just working out. I mean, they really make a difference.
She has to bear with me because, I'll go at 8:15 and my phone's ringing and I'll have to stop and go figure out what's going on and then go back in, and she just says, it's okay.
It's not worth it. Why do you just can't keep that up. You'll eventually have to just quit.
I'm not a quitter. I'll figure it out.
So if somebody says, I need gravel, well, I'll be there, hang on a minute, let me finish these bench press or this curl.
It's not necessarily gravel. I've got liquid asphalt trailers that are, either getting held up or something's going on,
Yeah.
or we've got 10 trucks paving asphalt and they've gotten held up because the plant's down or something's going on, or we're hauling dirt on 75 and somebody's blown a tire. I mean, it's not always the easiest situation to be in, but we make it work.
You ride your bicycle at 4 a.m., don't you? 5 a.m.?
No, I don't go till about 5:30.
Oh, 5:30.
At the end of the day. At the end of the day.
Oh, you used to ride in the mornings.
No, not much.
Oh.
Mostly at 5:30. But I've been on a job that's been really keeping me occupied. I haven't ridden much in the last 2 weeks. I think I've ridden once in 2 weeks. It's hard to have time, isn't it? I wonder if a person worked out 1 day a week religiously, if it would be about as good as 3 days a week.
Kurt Crisp says it's about repetition. Whatever you do, doesn't matter if you just flex your arms. If you do it 10 times and then just keep repeating it in repetition, that's what it is.
I've read that theory.
It works for him. Have you seen him?
Who's that?
Kurt Crisp, the builder. And his
He
dad.
was born that way.
No. And
Oh,
his,
yeah.
No.
He's always been strong.
Have you seen his dad? His dad's 83
His dad,
or
they were
84
born
and
that
still
way.
that
I'm
way.
telling you, I've known them since I was a kid. They were born that
But his
way.
dad works out every morning.
They were born
Still.
that. Believe me, they were born that way. They may work out, but they were born that way.
And his dad is still working. Does fences for me.
Well, that's become a trade, isn't it?
It
Benefield
has.
fence. I've used him some.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole different. It's just years ago, you would never thought about hiring a fence guy. Now we got fence guys. You know, the old carpenters used to build, put the roof on, form the concrete, pour the concrete, did everything except wire and plumb.
Footer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'd dig their own footers. That was the carpenter's job. I think this whole business is going to transform in the next 4 or 5 years. It's going to be totally different than what we see now.
In what manner?
I think that this gets complicated. But I think that back in the early 80s through the 90s, everything was all about bigger, better, that sort of thing. And somewhere after 2008, let's suppose that you were, this gets long, but we got time, right? Let's say that you were born in 1920. And in 1929, the economy crashed. And you saw your dad lose the farm, lose his business, whatever. Because if you were about 15, because at 15, you can really start recognizing what your parents are doing or having to do. Prior to that, you're a little bit in the dark. But about 15, you start saying, oh, they're working so I can go to the skating rink. They're working so I can have a car. Oh, they have to buy the car. I didn't realize this, all that stuff. So that guy was about 15 then. He saw his dad lose the farm, lose the house, all this stuff. So then when he got to be about 21, he had to start, they were talking about the war, and he ended up going to the war, World War II. And then when he had a son, they sent the son to Vietnam. And then now when he gets to where he can relax, they're saying him Social Security's not going to be there. So those people really had it rough. All right, now fast forward to 2008 or 2006. 2006, if a buyer didn't like the wallpaper, you said, move out of the way, the people behind you will buy it. Just something as simple as the wallpaper. That's how easy you could sell stuff. We think today things are so good. Not like in 2008. You couldn't build them fast enough. you couldn't have enough money in them, it would sell. All right, 2007, people started noticing a change. In back in 2008, you didn't go to any bank that didn't give you a line of credit or a 90-day note or some kind of a loan to do whatever you wanted. All right, in 2008, around October, they all said, wait a minute, all these banks are failing. We're going to have to reappraise your house. And it was $350. They'd paid $325 for maybe something in Lenox Hills. And they borrowed 105% of the appraised value. And then in 2008 or 2009, they said they're making us reappraise them, and we can only have an 80% loan to value, so that house is appraised at $285, and we need you to bring $30,000 in, or we can't renew this 5-year balloon. All right, those were hard times for a lot of people. For a lot of people, they didn't know, but for a lot, the majority of the people, it was. And all the banks said, we can't renew this line of credit. Where's your cash? Prior to that, if you had cash, they thought you were a bad business person because you weren't reinvesting the money. 2009, they said, where's your money? We want the money. We have to have it reappraised. All right. So the 15-year-old boy then was watching that. And how old is he today?
Dead.
No, the 15-year-old boy in 2009 is how old today?
2009.
Is
Okay.
how old today?
Get your calculator out.
Well, he's, how old is he, William?
34?
30. He's
30.
30. Now, do you think that in 1940 you could, those people that I talked about that were in the Depression, they would not borrow money to buy toilet paper. You know them, they're about 96 today. So what I'm telling you is the people we're doing business with today watch their families go through that period, and you're not going to be able to put them in debt. You can put them in a little bit of debt, but not much. You're not going to put them in a $400,000 house or a $300,000 house. Sure, there's some selling now, but they're not 30. They're 40. So what people are going to start doing is they're going to start buying, they're going to start living in what they can afford, and they're going to start taking trips and taking some real good pictures and putting them on Facebook and creating some memories.
I have noticed the younger generation is all on vacation all the time.
Well, they're not like, when I was growing up, you weren't successful unless you had a 3,500 square foot house with a bonus room over the garage and a full basement where you're going to buy a pool table and looking at buying a swimming pool. Nowadays, they're not going to do that. It's not that they don't want it. They saw their parents go through that period. Now, to them, I'm not comparing that to the Depression, but in their mind, that was as bad because they didn't go on the trip. They didn't go on the vacation. They didn't put the swimming pool in the backyard. They didn't buy the other car. Instead of going to Vanderbilt, they encouraged them to go to UTC. And that's the customer we're trying to sell to today, and they're not going to buy it. So we've got to, we could say, well, they're going to have to work harder because we can't build it for that. No, they're just not going to buy it. We got to come to what they can afford and what they'll buy. And what that is, if you say, what, I sound like I'm preaching, but what that is, what that amount is, if you take the normal, what people make in Bradley County, and you divide that by 12, about 1/4 of that they'll spend for utilities and housing. So what's the average person making now?
No idea.
Well, you can look it up online. There's a medium income, and the medium income.
Oh, in Bradley County?
Yeah.
38 to 45, wasn't it?
All right. What about for a married couple? 54.
Probably.
All right. So 54. What's that a week? That's $1,000 a week.
Right.
Now, so they're going to spend about $1,000 or $1,100 on utilities and housing. Utilities are about 200 a month or 150. So that's going to give them about 1,050. What will 1,050 buy? What it will buy is what they'll be buying.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 259 house is
Whether it's
15 a month.
renting or whether it's that's what they'll be buying. It's our job to figure out what that is.
And how to
They're
sell
not going
it.
to come to us. We got to go to them.
Yeah. I sold 13 around 259 recently. It was only 1,100 square feet, and their payments are running 1,500 to 1,700.
And anybody and what they're going to do about the end of next year is if interest rates come down a little bit, they'll refinance and get a HELOC or something. And here we go again.
We just hope that interest rates go down towards the end of the year.
Well, it won't this year. It won't next year. It'll the year after, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I think. No, am I wrong?
No.
I mean, if you say, well, you're wrong, Dee, they've got to start making more money. Well, who's going to pay them? Who are you going to pay $4,000 a month to? Not many. Who can pay them? Bowaters? They only got 600 employees.
Right.
They're about out. Oh, maybe this new Australian company that's coming in, it's going to employ 60 whole people. So they pay them $150 a year. Well, they're going to live in Chattanooga. So what I'm saying is the whole housing industry is going to be different. It's not that it's a bad economy, but it's different. It's just different.
But to build those affordable homes, you got to find land. Can't find that right now.
You got to, and I don't think a lot of people are going to be living in these, with these, 10-foot lot lines and somebody 12 foot away and stuff. They're not
Hoods.
going to.
I can't handle
They
that.
just can't do it. And because one thing about it, no matter how poor people get or how little they can afford, they still want to be independent.
Right.
And somebody 6 feet away from them is not independent. They may think it is for a few minutes, but it won't, not for long. So I think it's going to be larger tracts in the county on the septic tank with small houses. That's what's going to go. And it may be Charleston, Etowah, something like that, where it's just because you can go to, like I said, you can go to Riceville. You can be from Riceville to right here in less time than you can be here to Village Green. And you can go up there and you can have 5 acres, a $6,000 septic tank. Now you don't have a sewer bill, and you got a 1,100 square foot house.
I can tell you haven't put a tank in a while. Try about 8,500
8,500.
for about, 250, 300 feet of field line and a tank.
Well, still, yeah, that's that's on a 20-year payment. So that's what I think's going to happen. I may be wrong, but I built some apartments in Charleston. They're small.
I've seen them.
Yeah, and
They're cute.
I have no vacancies. I'm at $1,200 a month for those.
On those one bedroom?
On those, 1 bedrooms,
Wow.
$1,200 a month.
Wow.
I'm too cheap here in
That's probably
Cleveland.
the highest per square foot you can get on anything.
I think so.
But it's because the total's not that. The total's a lot. But anyway, I just think that's what it's going to. But they're still going to have the gravel for the driveway and the gravel for the septic tank. You have to add gas. Has the gas gone up a lot?
Diesel's actually gone down. I mean, we purchased it in bulk a couple of years ago. It was through the roof, but I mean, it's kind of leveling out now. I mean, we get a daily price, and then when they fill it up, that's what they charge us. But
So everything you have is diesel.
yes,
About how many gallons you buy a month?
we have an 8,000 gallon tank, and they come about twice a month.
Wow.
16,000 gallons. And how much is that a gallon?
The last time that I looked, I think it was $3.75 a gallon.
That's 47,000 a month. Golly.
We have a bunch of trucks.
Golly. That's a lot, isn't it? So what else is new besides my rant on what people are going to buy? Did I go on too much?
No, it was very interesting. It's enlightening.
Hey, you mentioned something about having one of those brick cell phones in that story, and I was just talking to my kids the other day about, I guess the evolution of cell phones. I don't know how we got off on that, but you remember when there were the huge like car phones that you set in the console of your
Yeah, the
of
bag,
your
the
car?
bag.
The
they call it.
bag
Yeah.
cell phone, yeah. So my mom and I went on a trip one time, and she borrowed a bag cell phone from someone, and so I guess we were telling them how lucky they were just to even have a
right.
phone. And then when I first got my phone, it was a flip cricket phone. That only went in one area. So if you went outside that area, you didn't even have service.
And I think mostly just Chattanooga metropolitan area had that.
Yeah.
They were cheap too.
Well, heck, cell phone don't even work at your house right now.
Well,
Half the time.
Half the time it doesn't work. I mean, we invested in a tower at my house because, we did all of that work on the county commission to get broadband in the 6th district. And it's slowly trickling over there, but we needed something because we built a shop and we had to have cell service and internet service back there. So we actually partnered with a guy named William, and he owns American Home Internet. He put a tower at the front of our property, and it gives us cell and internet service at my house.
What does he use to do that?
Well, I guess that I'm just thinking out loud here. The tower works off of other cell phone towers that are in the area. So Charter, Verizon, T-Mobile. I guess he does something
There's a
with
word
them,
for it.
right?
I got a Starlink for those up in Charleston. Boy, they work like a charm. I never seen anything work like that.
We were on the waiting list for Starlink, but this kind of came into play, and we decided to go this route.
I hooked 20 of them up to one Starlink.
Oh, wow.
$59, $120 a month. They came out, it came 4 days, and to my knowledge, I'm still waiting on Spectrum. I didn't cancel, they're still waiting on it. It's crazy. Crazy. I was one of the first people that had the extra battery on the brick phone. It was like this wide.
Yeah.
I was noticing, I was up in Charleston yesterday, and at that gas station, I guess it's the Amoco, they still have a payphone up there.
Really?
I wonder if anybody ever uses it.
Don't know. I think I've got a picture of you with the brick phone and your tail. What do you call it?
Rat tail?
Your rat tail. I think I do. From the 80s.
I don't think I had a rat tail in the 80s. That was just long
Well,
hair.
it had been 90s. But
Did I have a full head of hair?
I think
I'm
it
sure I
was
did,
sporadic.
Yeah.
I'll bring that.
You think I ought to shave my head? Look like Mark Hall?
I don't. Interesting. Brought them up. I don't know. I usually see with a hat, so I don't know.
Well,
You should get Mark Hall to shave it for you.
I'm afraid to shave it.
What is your wife like? She like your hair like it is or with a hat?
She doesn't really say. She doesn't really say. I mean, if you say, well, I like it better with a hat, that means you don't like my hair.
No, I mean,
might as
I've
well
just
say.
always seen you with a hat.
That may be why I did this.
Probably
But I think my hair's growing back.
I
I've started
see some
taking
on top.
some pills. It is growing back, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's new.
Oh, wow.
You know what it is? So I started taking shit. I never can think of what that thing is. Collagen. And my nails are growing twice as fast, and my hair is growing.
We take it for our skin.
Yeah, every day.
Which one do you take? Because there's like 4.
I don't know. I'll have to think of it.
I've got a
buy it
chocolate
off
one.
Amazon, just like she said. Everybody buys everything off
The
Amazon.
pink one, the pink label. Which one? What brand?
It has a green label. I'm not sure.
Mine's blue and white, and then I've got a chocolate one.
Okay.
The blue and white is for skin, and the green is multi, and the pink is for hair.
Okay.
But I read the multi, and it doesn't have the same thing that the pink has in it. So I figure the multi maybe not be multi. Are y'all gonna run for politics again?
Well, like we said before, it's debatable. We may come up with something bombshell in another year. It's a wait and see what Erica and Charlotte are going to do.
So y'all,
My kids say no. So, you know, they were,
Traumatized.
yeah, I mean, my kids, you know, just, it was a hard election. And so it was
what was hard about it?
just once you have the office and you are working hard and, you know, people that know you see your work ethic and they know how hard you tried to accomplish the goals that you set. My kids would always say, "Mommy, don't they know that you're working for them every day?" And I said, "I hope so. I hope so." So they were the ones that saw everything that I would do, all the meetings that they would have to come to me with, that come with me too. So, you know, you never know what's in store for the future, but they'll be older at that point, so maybe we can talk it through.
But during re-elections, there's a lot of people that even though we have differences in things, Erica and I didn't always vote the same, but we still had the mutual respect for each other. Even as taxpayers and as commissioners, we had mutual respect for each other. We didn't attack each other.
Well, if you agree on everything, one of you's not thinking.
Right. So during a re-election, though, you have some constituents that take it personal and they don't know how to have those differences or be polite about expressing their opinions. Instead, they go off the rails and become belligerent or inhumane and say things that they shouldn't say in front of children. And those are the things that traumatize people into rerunning because they don't want to put their families back through that kind of chaos. And the things that they shouldn't have been, things that should never have been said to anybody. There's ways to communicate. You and I don't always agree on some things, just once maybe.
Yeah,
but
once.
Still, we discuss them and we have a conversation about it. We're not
Just
mad at each
because
other.
I can't convince you doesn't mean that you're right.
And doesn't mean you're right,
Right.
or I'm wrong. Or it doesn't mean you're wrong.
Right.
So those are the things during re-election campaigns that are
To me, it would
awful.
hurt my feelings. If I had ran and won, and everybody told me they loved me, and I ran again and I got beat, I would want to crawl in a hole and cry.
I did for a day.
Because
to be honest.
I'm very sensitive.
I did for a day, to be honest, but I was mad. I was more hurt
My
by the
guess is
things
about-
said. You know, I didn't
Yeah.
care that I got beat. Okay, I didn't work hard enough, apparently, or people didn't see the value in what we were doing when we were doing it.
I think people, if you ever mix up business with politics, you're gonna
yeah.
mess up. It's just a different thing. I've watched my friend Troy Dixon. He was the head prognosticator for the whole county under Donna Hubbard and all the old people, and he studied it to the nth degree, and I learned a lot from him just listening to him. And it's just not business. That's why most business people don't do well in politics, because they confuse it with business.
Yeah, but we've got school teachers and everybody else up there that
All
shouldn't
it
even be
is
there.
is a popularity contest. That's all it is.
School teacher, law enforcement, everybody that works for the county is trying to run the county. And then they talk about us having conflicts of interest up there. Those are the real people that have true conflicts of interest because they're voting on their own salaries. And they work for the county. So why would they ever go against the county in any of their votes?
The school board, I don't know why the school board just didn't under the county commission. I get confused on that.
That's law.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's dictated by state law.
What y'all meet, once a month or twice a month?
We met every week.
Yeah.
Every week?
4 times.
Golly. What's there to discuss?
Nothing. They should just
I
have
mean,
it
they
every
just
other
should have
week.
it once a month.
Well, you need that many meetings to make sure that everybody understands what's going on.
Well, to me, that's part of the job, is to understanding what's going on and not to get up there and be taught.
But if
That's the part of the
Right,
job.
right.
Understand it on your own time.
you should understand it on your own time, but that's not always what takes place. And I'm not saying just on the county commission. I mean, in business, that happens too. So, I mean, it's just the world we live in today. So you got to make sure they understand, and then they sometimes get up there and vote on stuff they don't even know they're voting on. So,
Look at those 14 and go down the line, and you tell me who understands what they're even up there for. How many of them?
I can name
You can
only
keep that to
I can-
yourself, but-
Yeah, yeah. I'm not even that familiar with who's on it now. That's because of no banner sort of thing. And
I'm very vocal about how we are not represented at our county anymore. I'm so disappointed in that
Who's
county
we?
commission. The taxpayers. We, the taxpayers. I'm a taxpayer now.
well, one reason is they're not in the paper. Or you can see it on WCLE on that online thing, and who's going to watch that?
or Steve Hartline.
I
tells
do
us
watch
in the,
it.
Steve Hartline tells us in the mornings
does he?
what's going on. Yeah. Emily Beatty does the county commission update in the mornings if you listen to them.
Yeah, you need to like those pages so maybe it'll come up on your feed and you'll see a few
Yeah.
more things. Or I can
Yeah.
tag you in them.
Well, if you vote for the person that you think's the best, then why do I need to follow what they're discussing?
To see if you
I mean,
want
I'm
to vote for
assuming-
them again.
Well, that will evolve, I think. You know,
I mean, I think probably part of the problem is that we don't make educated decisions as voters because you've got to be informed. If you're not watching the county commissioner that you voted for on a weekly basis and you're not reading them in the news, how are you keeping up with their doing what you want as a taxpayer and a constituent?
they're not. They're just voting on who they like the best.
Right.
Yes,
Who came to their house? Who came to the
Yes.
ball game? Who came to their mother's funeral?
who was in
goes-
their ear last?
Who goes to their church? That's who they're going to vote for.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what they do, they're going to agree with it.
Yeah.
But I do think there are some things that are important. I think that people in Bradley County want to wave the flag of we're Bradley County. We're not the city of Cleveland. We're Bradley County. Anything that you can tag with that, you can sell. Anything you can tag on the city with we're for downtown Cleveland, well, you can sell anything. We're for downtown Cleveland. What's going to happen downtown Cleveland? I mean, let's say they make that the most wonderful road in the world. I'm still not going to go down there unless I'm going to Gardner's, and I'm not going because they're too busy.
That's part of my 3-mile radius, though. I do everything downtown. I eat downtown.
Where do you
go
eat?
to the bank downtown?
Where do you eat?
Oh, let's see. Inman Street Social, the Cafe Roma, the Catch.
For lunch or
every-
evenings?
Gardeners at lunch
Yeah.
sometimes. I don't eat lunch, though. I don't have time to eat lunch. But
Don't eat any lunch?
no. But
don't
dinner
stop
is
for
all
lunch?
downtown. Mm-mm.
I always
Crackers and
stop
water.
for lunch.
Where do you eat? Oh, yeah, I've ate with you a few times
Yeah.
at Gondolier. And,
Yeah, with Toby's group, and then I eat with Ted Moss on Fridays.
yeah, I only eat by invite on lunch, and then I've got to take off.
Yeah.
But just don't have time.
You
but
eat at
yeah,
home?
I mean, we're always on the go because my kids play sports.
Yeah, but during the day.
During the day, I don't normally eat lunch. No, I'm working and I'll grab some crackers while I'm trying to figure out the next day. It's
Yeah,
probably not the best.
if you stop and eat lunch, you can make the rest of the day more productive, I think.
Well, I mean, once I go to the office, I don't normally leave until I have to go pick up my kids, and then I'm working in my car, sitting waiting on them. So it's a constant.
I'm bad to text and drive and stuff, don't you?
I try not to text and drive because my kids are, of the driving age. They're watching what I'm doing. They're sitting in the front seat. I mean, I still do sometimes, but
My shoulder I've got to crick my shoulder from texting because I got it where I can stick it to my dashboard.
Well, I know you like the same vehicle all the time. So what are you driving now? Do you have something new?
Kia.
Okay, so that's the same thing.
Yeah.
So you went from the truck to the Kia, but we've got
Yeah.
new vehicles finally
Yeah.
that we both deserved in our lifetime. So
See, I
it's got a
drive
huge screen and it does everything for you. You just talk.
See, I drive the same thing for years and
Yes,
years
I know, and the
years.
same house, he goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Built him a new house and then went
Yeah.
back to the old one.
Yeah, I built a new house, moved
Creature
in
of
it, and
habit.
Yeah.
stayed
Not even a year.
21 days.
But you didn't remodel your other one in 21
Spent
days.
4 of them in, yeah,
You did?
yeah,
Oh, I didn't know it was
yeah,
that
and
quick.
spent 4 days in the hospital
Oh, wow.
from BC powders. But, and from, I like a route. My business is so much chaos, I try to keep everything else routine.
Yeah.
Because it's enough chaos there. So I try to make organization out of chaos. But
You have to be a good multitasker to do this type of business, right? I told the lady that works in my office, I said, if we could just bottle this up and sell it, we wouldn't have to do any of this anymore. Because one day I was on the phone with somebody, I was got a beep, so they were on hold and I was talking to somebody else, and then I had my iPad out trying to figure out something about a truck all at the same time. And then when the lady came back on the phone, she was like, hello? I was like, hello? And you couldn't even tell that I was doing 10 things at one time.
Let me tell you what happened to me one time. I was building this building for this lady, and she calls me and says, hey, why won't they paint the living room? And so I said, hang on just a minute. And I put her on hold and I called the painter and he said, we painted it today. She sat there on the bucket and watched us. He said, she's crazy. And I said, yeah, she must be crazy. So I go back to her and I said, and she had cut off. She calls him back and crying because we was talking about her.
Oh, she could hear you?
She could hear us.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. And so, and I'll give him credit. Me and him both went over there the next day to her house, and we just said we apologize. We can't say anything other than we're sorry. He went with me. He was a good friend. And, but, you know, I wouldn't have said it if he hadn't have said it. I was just trying to put things together, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, yeah, I do that all the time, having to multitask. Multitasking is an art.
I know.
I mean,
we
it's
can
an
bottle
art.
it up and sell it.
I've usually got about 12 jobs going, 3 that I've just finished, 3 that I'm getting ready to start, and so in various stages, you know. And it's really hard to keep them all together.
Yeah, I said the other day, I'm going to stop taking over 10 in 1 year. I've got to, or 10 at one time, because it's just me. It's just too difficult.
It's too hard. And I remember back years ago, I would have to stop and use payphones. Got to go to Cleveland Plywood. Finally, one day, I'd used the phone so much, Steve said, Dee said, how about if you use this phone back here in the back? Because I was tying it up for everybody else. And you'd go to Munford's and make your phone calls, and you had to call all the subs at night.
Or your pagers go off all day long, too.
Oh, yeah,
You got to
the
stop,
pager.
pull over.
Golly,
I don't know
it was
how
awful.
we did it. I don't know how we did
I
it.
finally bought a cell phone when I had spent $20 one day on quarters, on phone calls.
But how much, what I couldn't remember when we were talking to my kids about the bag cell phone, how much did it cost to use those bag cell phones? I mean, it was astronomical.
Oh,
back
yeah,
then.
you couldn't get in the roaming sections. It was like $45 a month, and you couldn't go over the minutes. But here's what I had also. Did you ever know Charlie Whitmire? He had Global Communications.
Yes.
So I went to Global Communications, and you could get this click phone where you could talk to the person.
Oh,
and then
yeah, like a radio.
Yeah, and there were
Yes.
3 on it.
Yeah.
Me.
Was it Notel?
Nextel.
Nextel.
No.
Something similar.
This
It was similar.
This was before Nextel. This was like the policeman used, but it was a different wave. And so the only people on it was me, Jim Seitz, who did all the work for Stony Brook. So it was me, Jim Seitz, and T&G Construction, which was what's his name? I know him, Michael. Look, what's his name?
Pyramid?
No, T&G. I know him like a book. What's his name?
Well, he's going to be mad at you
I
when you
know
see
it.
this
I know
because
it.
you don't remember his name.
But I can't remember his. But it was us three, T&G Construction. You know him. I just can't think of his name. But anyway, it was us three. So I knew everywhere Stony. So I would use that phone when I ran out of minutes on my brick.
Mm-hmm.
But it would reach where the other ones wouldn't. But you could call a real person on a real landline. You say, "I'm talking on this phone. I can't hear you until I let up on the click." You know.
Yeah, and that's what Nextel was too.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Yeah, but I liked Nextel. You could beep them.
I can't think of who was local, but they started one, but you still had to go to Chattanooga, and that's where I got my first cell phone. But it was like $500 a month for one person.
Yeah, but you could throw it up on the dash. No matter where you had it, they could hear you loud and clear. It was one of the best phones. But now, I'm, getting emails and notifications, and all that stuff drives me insane.
And then the BlackBerry came, and I loved it because you could text and drive because you could
Yeah.
feel the screen. You
Oh,
didn't have to
yeah.
look down. You could just do this. And then when it went to the touch screen, I was like, I can't handle this. I can't do this and drive. And then, of course, it came out, don't multitask and text and drive. So I quit doing that.
But back then, the subs would go ahead and do it. You didn't have to call them during the day. They would go ahead and use their own judgment, and it all worked the same. It worked as well. There's no time saving with the phones.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
There's just no time savings.
They don't make decisions on their own now because all they gotta do is call you.
Yes, when
And
you
I'm
said
like, are you
red, what-
seriously calling me for this?
Yeah, when you said, Red, where do you want me to get these 2x4s? Cleveland Plywood.
Where are you closest to?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
true.
I've got the same people that's worked for me for years. They do. I'd spend some time in jail for them if I needed to.
Me too.
I got the same carpet layer.
Me too. Same one.
Same one.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. Who you use?
Kenny?
Oh yeah, Kenny. I use Kenny. That's who I use.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how he lifts that carpet.
I don't know how he's still going.
I mean, he can't hardly get out of the car, but he can lift the carpet.
Sure
it's
can.
bizarre to me.
And then get on his knees.
Boy, he's a great guy, isn't he? Great guy. Remember Kenny, his son, used to lay for him?
Was his name Kenny?
His name was Little Kenny. we
Oh,
called
okay.
him. Boy, when did you come to Cleveland?
I came to Cleveland 20 years ago.
Oh. What would that be? 2004, 2003. So, what else is new with y'all?
We're collaborating. Look for us. We're
What is
gonna
collaborating mean?
we are both behind the scenes making a plan. And so look for our website. It's going to be thebombs.com.
Oh my God.
Coming soon.
The bombs?
Don't listen to her. Don't
Thebombs.com
listen
coming
to her.
soon.
I'd hate to go against either one of you individually, and I certainly would not chance both of you at the same time.
Hey, she's a strong woman. Strong business. That's what we need.
Well-
I've been very impressed by how Charlotte handles herself in business. I knew her through county commission, but she builds a great house. She's very particular. and-
Charlotte can handle it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, no matter what it is, she will. Her and Teresa Evans, I don't know who would win. You know Teresa?
Yes, very well. Yeah,
You and her are a lot alike.
yeah. Yeah, I was on your job sites in the 9th grade.
In the 9th grade, who was you working
Ninth
for
grade.
then?
You and David May, and who else did I work
9th
for?
grade, who was you working for then?
Me.
No, let's see.
I did my own wallpaper.
That was
hanging.
was that when they had the
I didn't work for anybody.
They had the vines. Everybody hung
Oh,
the
yeah,
blinds with
yeah.
either the
green
one or the red
Vine
one.
or a paisley
Yeah.
or
I bet I've got apartments with that still in it.
and country kitchens.
Yeah, and
Oh.
then the country blue came out. Remember that?
And
Or
the
no,
pink.
hunter green.
Yeah.
Hunter greens. You did, but you hung wallpaper. You didn't hang for anybody.
No, me.
Just you. But
You called
got,
me.
You got it from Angie, right?
Yeah. Well, you would.
Yeah.
I didn't ever buy
Yeah.
your wallpaper.
Yeah.
I just installed.
Does she do a lot of business?
Yeah, she's a designer.
But she's got the.
She still has a wallpaper store, yes.
That's a big building, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we moved into that. I helped move wallpaper into that in
I've never been in the basement. What they got in the basement?
late 80s and early 90s.
Is that where they did the cabinets and stuff?
They
Yes.
Brad used to do some cabinets there. They have picture framing there. I'm not sure if she does a lot of it anymore. And then just stockpiles of old wallpaper.
Smells good in there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I went in there here a while back, and I went to the nobody was up front, so I went to the bathroom, and by the time I'd gone to the bathroom, I came out, and they were up front, and it scared us both to death.
Yeah, so you went in the cooler?
Yeah, it was a cooler,
Yeah, the cooler, the
Yeah.
old cooler, yeah. That was Cobb Guerin's store.
Cobb Guerin, yeah.
Yeah, that was his store.
Did they have a place on Wildwood Avenue?
Wildwood.
Not
No.
Wildwood, not Wildwood. Dalton Pike.
No, we had it.
Who was that had the convenience store on Dalton Pike?
Oh, that was the Guerin's. That was a different set of Guerin's. Out there that they tore down next to Waterville.
I always get those confused.
Yeah, it's different Guerin's.
Different
Yeah,
Guerins.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was Christy Guerin's papaw, I think.
So what are y'all going to collaborate on?
Can't tell for a year or more.
For a year?
Everybody
got-
counted us out. They should
got-
have been betting against us.
I got what? Well, I wasn't betting against you. But what could y'all be getting into?
I don't know. We'll see.
Can you tell?
I'm just gonna let Charlotte talk about it.
We don't know. We're just planting the
she's
seed.
the pot stirrer over there.
If I was y'all, I'd get into something easier.
Yeah.
Something easier
Definitely
than
not
this.
not an election.
Well, I mean, something besides construction and gravel haul. I'd get into something easier. While I could.
Did you jump into anything easier?
No, but it wasn't this hard.
No.
It got harder. It didn't start out this hard.
Yeah, but what else are we gonna do? This is what we love.
Well, there's got to be something. You ever thought about if I had this guy that cut my hair for 15 years, Raymond Woods? Y'all never knew him, did you?
No.
He was one of the smartest guys I'd ever met. I said, Raymond, I said, how did you start cutting hair? He said, well, I went to MTSU and got a major in economics and got a minor in psychology, and I went to Florida and started teaching school. And I said, you have to do all that to cut hair? He said, no, that's what I had to do. That was my journey. I had to do all that stuff. And I said, well, what's the rest of the story? And he said, well, I'd walked out of a Kroger. He said, a Kroger. He said, and I saw it. And I said, saw what? And he said, well, when you see it, you'll know it. But he said, I saw it, and I immediately called my landlord and asked him how much I needed to get out of how much I needed to pay to get out of my rent, and he told me, and I had 2 cars, and I sold one of them to pay off the lease, and I drove back to Cleveland, Tennessee, and on the way back, I decided the lifestyle that I wanted, and after I decided the lifestyle I wanted, I decided the occupation that fitted, and I thought, boy, that's just too genius. He said it took me that long, the 6 hours. He said, I got back to Cleveland, went to beauty school, and he said, I've been cutting hair. And he says, I've got, he had 150 regular customers.
Wow.
You could not get him to cut your hair. He already had the customers. And I remember one day I told him, I said, Raymond, I said, I'm tired of building. He said, well, charge more. And I said, I can't charge you more. He said, hey, don't tell me that. I just charged you $50 for a $5 haircut.
Sucker.
So
At least you're loyal.
maybe we should figure out what we want to do, how we want to live, and instead of making our job fitted. Does that make sense?
Well, I don't know how I would do what I do about running my kids unless I did this job. Because,
Well, he didn't either, I guess,
Yeah.
till maybe you would arrive at this thing.
Yeah.
So Raymond wouldn't have disagreed with that. He would have just said the thinking process of deciding that was it was it.
Well, mine's not a lot about money because I give it away like all the dang time. Anytime somebody calls with a worthy thing, we throw money at it, or oh yeah, I'll give you this. And in 1 week we'll give out $600 to 3 different people because they called and said, hey, I need this, and so you're always giving it away. So it's really not about the money. I don't really spend a lot of money personally
We never
on
did.
anything.
We never
I
were
don't buy
spendthrifts.
clothes or anything.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
eat out except the weekend at night. So
You don't
I
go on
spend a lot
lavish
of-
vacations.
No, I don't spend a lot of money. I like what I do. I don't preferably like getting up to get to the office by 5 so that I can get some stuff done before the phone starts ringing. But her phone's ringing the same time mine does.
Do
4
you get
and
to office
4:30.
at 5?
Yeah, it's the only time. It's quiet for about an hour, and then everybody starts getting jobs about 6:30.
See, I do all my stuff before I go to sleep ready for the day.
Oh, I'm ready for the day, but I'm trying to catch up. And paperwork's never done. All the government
It's
regulations
never-
now on us.
it's never
We are
done.
the bookkeeper for the state of Tennessee. Their
It's-
business certificates, this certificate, workers' comp, insurance, everything's crazy. And then you get invoices for your customers. And when you've got 12 jobs going,
Business tax.
Yeah.
And you never know which customer's going to say, what's that for? You got to know.
So you don't have anybody that helps you in the office? It's just you?
just me.
Just you?
It wouldn't matter. You can't, in our business, you can't hire somebody to do that.
And I've got
Because
2 jobs that have your name on it. I got Davis Lane and Erica Davis. And I know what I got at this job site, and so I have to take it out and say that's not Erica's, that's Davis Lane.
And see, we'll get bills that say north
Yeah, that's
or,
it.
or the mile. And what that means is Sequoia Drive
Yeah.
or Tangle instead of Pangle.
Yeah.
Or Tingle. So only we know, and here's another thing, even if the supplier puts the right name, we still have to look at it and say, no, that didn't
didn't
get
get that."
ceramic tile.
Right.
That goes over here.
Well, a couple years ago, I finally got somebody to help me, and it's been life-changing. I mean, we could probably use another person to help in my office.
We would too if it. The problem is, see, I don't write any of my own checks, but I have this little piece of paper I write when I get a bill. I write what account, what entity, what it's for, and when it's due, and whether we mail it or put it on the back porch. And so I attach that to every check, and then they write it that next day and post it, and then I come in and I sort it to the job.
Okay.
Do you use QuickBooks?
Yeah, sorting to the jobs is what takes me forever, and then I got to get it. I just invoice once a month because I don't have time to do it. So I'll get my customer their invoices at the end of the month, and I hope to get it to them by the 10th because I have to pay all those by the 10th. So I usually end up paying all my vendors, getting reimbursed by the 10th of every month from my customers. But it takes me weeks to get all their invoices ready.
Well, I solved that. I don't bill until I'm done.
Well, you've got more cash flow than I do, apparently.
Well, I mean, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, some of my customers would come unglued if I billed them only once.
Well, I mean, they know about what it's going to
Yeah,
be.
I know, yeah, true.
Just say, here's what it's going to be. I'm going to give it, what's the question?
Yeah.
Then that way you have time to
Yeah.
find an error. A lot of times you
Well,
don't.
I'm not lock and key though.
Yeah,
Some my
yeah.
customers, if they're
I'm
going
not-
over, they want to know by the second month
I'm not-
if they're going
yeah.
out of their budget, so they can save for it.
I just quit building for people that are on a budget.
Yeah, I know it's difficult, but I mean, I tell people the truth on their estimates.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it
Right.
for them and tell them, oh yeah, I can build that for 170 square foot. Not
Yeah.
happening. It's usually over 200. I give them that.
Is 240 about what it's running now?
It depends on where it is, what the roof system looks like, and their elevations, of course. Because everybody wants their driveways and elevations in their price. Seems like now.
How you gonna know that?
Right, so I don't know that. So yeah, it ranges.
It's so difficult. She's got it a lot easier than us, and she doesn't know it. It's a lot easier, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I do have a newfound appreciation for her job, though, knowing all the stuff she has to do behind the scenes. So I'm loyal to my suppliers, so always continue to patron her.
You ever get people that just want to pay? They want to you charge the gravel to them, but you just charge the haul bill.
That's me. I'm just
Doesn't
kidding.
that get caught? I used to do that too for a long time. I get 2 bills, but what I found out is that I can't read the tickets that well.
What tickets?
Well, the bulk of material tickets.
Oh, yeah.
I can't read the truck tickets and the log times and stuff, and
The tonnage?
the tonnage. So the guy that's the Bobcat guy or the gravel guy, they can better discern that than I can. Why do I need to go through that to save $7?
Right.
You know.
Well, the only reason she does it that way for me is because I get the same gravel price as her. So I can put it on my Vulcan bill, but it's too difficult for her to go through the weigh station and say, put this on her, but I'm hauling it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when her trucks go through there, they're billing her.
Oh, that's the way I do it. Yeah, I'll just let them deal with it. What time you get to the office?
It depends on what day, but I mean, normally I try to be there by 8:30 or 9 o'clock. So.
But her phone's still ringing at 4, so she should either place.
I mean, it's just where are you working? So if I'm in the office, yeah, I'm actually holding those office hours, but my phone rings before then.
Yeah,
every
if you're
day.
at a kid's ball game, you're probably still at work, right?
Yes. Yeah, always.
Do you ever turn yours off anymore? I don't either.
Mine never goes off.
Yep.
That's the first thing I look at in the morning.
My
Or-
customers are 24/7. Seems like I'll get texts if I'm asleep. It's notifications are off, but
Oh, I've got
Saturday,
a ring. I've got a
Sunday.
ring camera on mine. I can tell when the customers walked on the job.
me too. I've got cameras on every job.
How much do you pay the subscription?
Yeah, but I bill the customers.
I don't
For
pay
it.
the. I don't think I pay a subscription.
Oh, you don't do Arlo?
I do
Ring?
ring.
Oh, I do Arlo because it's better quality. I can get tags. I can get everything.
What do you mean tags?
I can get tags on vehicles that shouldn't be there, stealing.
I just got a camera that I can pull up that's facing the driveway or wherever I want.
Oh, okay.
And somebody could call it if they want to. It's just as good and it's free. Why do I want to know the tag on the car?
Because I have theft sometimes, so I
You
don't know
got
who's there.
insurance, who cares? Let them
Yeah.
steal it.
True.
But then that's made it. Of course, you have to charge it. Do you have chargers?
They've got batteries and solar panels.
I have to charge mine once a week.
No, the solar panel backs mine up. So I had to change it every 3 or 4 months.
So what else? I'm interested in this collaboration y'all are going to do.
We're just collaborating behind the scenes right now, coming up with options.
She's a mess.
So on the county commission, say y'all disagreed sometimes?
Yeah, we didn't always vote the same.
A lot of times.
Would you interpret it that y'all were actually arguing or didn't like each other, or was it just like me and Alvin Calhoun? If you were in the same room with us, you'd think we couldn't stand each other. But we're good friends.
She would lean over and go, "Well, Commissioner Davis," and start shaking her head. So I knew that she was clearly irritated at me.
Why'd you do that?
I don't remember. I have short-term memory. I cannot remember anything really. Just a few times.
She'd
maybe.
look at me with those glasses pulled down.
Yeah,
Well, Commissioner Davis.
Yeah.
I was
raise that
intimidated by her.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, another woman on here.
I'm not intimidating.
I was intimidated by her, yes.
So y'all didn't know each other before the county commission?
No.
No.
Norman knew James, though.
Yeah.
So they had went motorcycle stuff together.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, they're okay.
Yeah.
It's just two women. You can't agree with everything.
Yeah, we still went out to eat and stuff.
well, see, guys, we can get mad and cuss each other, and it doesn't mean a thing. I mean, it's just a new inning to the ball game. It's not a big deal.
We didn't go that far, but
But I mean that we would go that far.
I think
And-
we let stuff get between us towards the end, maybe. But some things happened during it that I was always on her side and taking up for her because women are attacked more than men are when
You
it
think?
comes to politics or
You
anything.
think?
Oh, yeah. There were some definite things that people weren't going after the guy sitting next to her that voted the same, but they were going after her. So, yeah, there was a lot of bias on us being women on the county commission, always. But you know what we did? We just stubbed our nose at it. We didn't give a crap.
But I think Tom does a good job. I mean, maybe that's, I don't know what the rest of the commission thinks.
I'll be
but
nice. I won't give my opinion on that.
Tom's a man's man. He's we're with him no matter what.
You don't watch any of the meetings, do you?
I don't watch it. Whatever Tom, I'm good with whatever. It's just, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter.
Sleeping or...
It wouldn't matter.
Okay.
I'm with him. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Men are just, But I'd be like that with you. Whatever you said, I'm good with.
Really?
I told Tom, I said, hey, whatever, you can depend on Charlotte. No
What
problem.
district are you in?
I don't even know.
Where you live still? Oh, same
I live-
place. Yeah, you're Tom's.
Same place.
Tom's
Am I
district, yeah.
Well, I don't even. But politics is a strange thing. It's a real strange thing. And I don't think money actually, there's a lot, this city council, one guy's got a lot of money and the other guy doesn't seem to be spending any. I don't know how that's going to affect it, do you?
I don't.
I mean, if
City
you go-
politics are a bit different.
If you go back to when my dad ran, he had no signs up, and he won. And the
My
other guy had tons of signs.
Second election, I put no signs up.
No signs?
Not during the second election.
Did you have opposition?
Yes. I ran against 6 people every time, except for one time, and I ran against 2, maybe.
I had June Montgomery Anderson here. She's really nice. She's
Yeah,
really
she ran
nice.
against me once.
She's really nice. She's a really good person. So,
my takeaway from politics in Bradley County, I'm thankful for the experience that I got to have. I mean, it changed me as a person, but for the better, I think. I learned a lot about myself. I learned that, not everybody has a backbone. You can't buy one of those on Amazon. You definitely have to have one of those to be in politics. So, I think overall it was a good experience. The re-election was difficult, but, that's because I stood up for what I believed in, and some people didn't like it.
did you work hard on the second election?
I did. But once you're in the office, it's so hard to do your job as, your real job. It's hard to do the commission. And then if you have a family, those are basically 3 jobs that you're trying to do. And then you're trying to go out and knock on doors and, get your face out there for voters. And there's not enough time in the day some days to do all of that. So it's different when you're running and you're not holding the seat, I feel like.
I think you're right, because if you're holding the seat, you're actually at somewhat of a disadvantage because number one, you're busier,
Right.
and number 2, it's easier to criticize from not being sitting there.
Right.
Like I was on the city planning commission for like 27 years. And if you didn't know what I know, you'd wonder why I voted this way or that way. And
Exactly.
it's so much different. It's so easy to sit and criticize from the audience.
Because they don't know the ins and outs.
They
of what
don't
you
know. They don't
You're on
have
the
a
county
clue.
BZA
All
also, aren't you?
I'm on the county BZA.
Still.
And they don't know and they don't know all the nuances that are behind the scenes, and it's just so much more.
And you would take the time to try to explain it to somebody, and they would still argue with you. And you would say, but I've been in these meetings, I can tell you firsthand this and that, and they're still arguing with you about it. So it's almost, is that a lost cause? I mean, or should you continue to try to explain something and people argue when they're not in the meetings and they don't know and what their facts are or hearsay? My suggestion was always, please go research this yourself and come back to me, and I would meet with whoever wanted to meet with me. But it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I was very proud of her after the re-election. She held her head up high, and she took a lot of I don't know, bad stuff that I didn't have to go through. She went through a lot of it. People were really after her, and she held her head up high and came out above it. So,
See, I think that's just within the small circle there.
Correct. It's like a bubble.
It's
in a
just
bubble.
like I mean, there's a certain group of people that listen to the county commission and the guy that's from WCLE that's filming it, and a few of the commissioners' relatives and a few of their church members. But you get just a little ways out of that,
Yes.
and they don't know who the 14 are.
Exactly.
So if you get consumed with what these little groups saying, you're gonna miss the whole boat.
Yes.
Just ignore them, because it's gonna throw you off.
but sometimes
got-
that little group can be deviant and come straight to your front door, and that was the problem.
But it won't. But in the end,
Right.
in the end, it's the guy that's living out on No Pond Road, that's driving to Shaw Industries, or he's going to the Athens or to Decatur, and he's just going to vote for who he seems as well spoken.
Right.
And he doesn't know
And-
anything that just happened.
No, he
Yeah.
doesn't have a clue. That's where people get. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's why
I mean,
we always say we would like our voters to be more educated on who they're voting for, but they're not going to be.
Well, they are, but what it is, you start trying to conform with the few people that are saying stuff that's not even relevant. You know,
ultimately, I left knowing that I did a great job, and the commission that I worked with did a great job. And really, that's all that matters to me. I look at the pictures that I have of the 4 years that I was there, and I appreciate everybody that was up there. We all did something. And so, you know, I had to, after that election, just reflect and say, okay, this is what I'm going to remember, not necessarily the bad couple of months that we had.
nobody remembers. The public, here's something Troy Dixon used to tell me. He said the general public has a very short memory.
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look at the whole and the posture of the person. And when I say posture, the persona,
Right.
the posture, that's all they know.
And
That's
it
all-
makes us wonder then, why in the heck did we pour our whole body and spirit into this in trying to make Bradley County better when nobody really cared?
Because that's
And
what
they
you
don't
want.
remember.
That's what you wanted to do.
Because that's the kind of people we are.
That's the kind of people you are. You didn't do it for that,
Yeah,
and that's
true.
why you
Yeah.
won. And the reason maybe you lost is because you started listening to the inner circle that wasn't even voting anyway. I mean, that's it's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
It's like let's say you know, Lady Gaga. She had some great songs. What in the
Yeah, she does.
2000, you know, she had some great Poker Face and all of those. She started listening to what they told her people wanted to hear. You hadn't heard of her since. If she had just stayed doing what she was doing, incidentally, like Cher did, she just kept doing what she was doing.
She's still here.
And she's
Dolly's still here.
And she's only known by she's one of the few that's known by one name.
Right.
Cher, Trump,
Dolly.
Dolly.
Charlotte.
But then you got Lady Gaga.
Erica.
See, they have to be known by two names. So the best thing to do is do what you're doing and don't veer from it, and just stay doing what you're doing, and don't listen to these few inner things, because nobody else is listening to that.
I didn't even know
Right.
who Lady Gaga was until recently, because I don't listen to radio. My phone is on 24/7. I don't ever listen to
mine
radio.
is too.
I don't even know who people are.
I hear you. I don't. Well, she was.
Yeah, I know
She was
Cher
a long
and
time.
Dolly,
She
yeah.
was a long time ago, Lady Gaga. But
And I remember
Now
Dixie
it-
Chicks from the earlier days. But that's about
oh
it.
yeah,
I don't know anybody.
You don't know Halsey?
Who?
Halsey? Oh, Halsey's great, isn't she? You know?
No.
You don't know?
I don't know who that is.
I'm telling you, I don't know any of the new country singers. I know nobody. I just don't turn it on.
Well, it wouldn't matter. The what do you call that thing where it comes on your radio? You know, the Wi-Fi or whatever you call it.
All Star.
You know when I'm
Apple Music, Spotify.
no when you turn your phone on, it comes on the car speaker.
Oh yeah, CarPlay.
No, you know when you plug your phone in and somebody calls
Bluetooth?
you. Bluetooth, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't hear nothing.
Yeah,
That's all I'm doing. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting on the next call.
Yep, me too. I don't turn radio on.
Boy, I miss those days, don't you?
Yeah.
Of listening to the radio.
Yeah.
What is one of the songs that you remember listening to in your early days of construction when there weren't as much cell phones going that you could listen to the radio while you're just going to a job?
Guns N' Roses. I've got every album Guns N' Roses ever did.
I've got more speeding tickets from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, and it was the DVD. So then, that was distraction enough trying to find through your thing. You throw it in the DVD player. And
Yeah.
then half the cars didn't come with DVD players
Yeah.
or whatever, so you have to buy the thing and put it in your car. Of course, you only had 2 or 3, so we know you didn't have it in your truck and then you didn't have it in the Kia. What'd you have in between the truck and the Kia? The Kia.
A Versa.
That's right, yeah. That wasn't long.
What I did was I had in 2007, I had a Nissan Frontier, a real nice one, a brand new one, and I wrecked it, and that was at the end of '08, and so while I was waiting on the insurance company to pay for it and everything, they gave me a rental car, and it was a Versa, and it was just a junky, cheap, basic
You
car.
drove it with a donut, from what I remember. A
Yeah.
donut.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But that car would run like a scalded dog. I mean, it would get in and out of traffic. It was quick on the acceleration. And so when I got the insurance check, I started going around trying to look for cars while I could. And I thought, well, if I could, and all of them had that, that slow acceleration with that CVS or whatever they call it, and gas saving. And I thought, well, I wished I could find a car that would run as good as this one. And I called that rental car company. I said, can I buy this car? And they let me buy it for $3,000. And I kept it. I drove that thing till it didn't even have a door handle. You had to put your finger in it and pull the thing, and that thing it would run, and it was quick in traffic. I mean, just and but that little Kia I have, I'm telling you, if you drive that thing about 3 or 4 times, you won't buy another vehicle. And I told Teresa Evans that, and she bought it, and she wrote it. She wrote, and next thing I knew, she bought her one. They're quick, fast. How much you spend a day in gas?
I fill up twice a week, so probably 160 a week.
Well, you know what mine
200.
cost a day,
What?
and I drive to the Hiwassee River, $4.90, and I'll go there like 4 times a day. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's so cheap, and insurance is cheap. Everything's cheap.
Well, I see a truck looks like yours all the time, and I always,
No,
not
no, it don't mean
I
it.
know.
But I drive the cheap. But I always figured if I was driving I had a customer ask me, says, "How do you build these houses without driving a truck?" And I said, "Hey, if I need a truck, I'm mismanaging somebody."
Yeah, we shouldn't be hauling. I do occasionally haul little
Yeah.
stuff, but no.
So, do y'all think that women in business is better than men in business?
We're multitaskers, so
Women are as a rule.
yeah,
You think?
multitaskers is a rule. I think, but I don't know that we're any better. It just
You
depends
think-
on the woman and how strong she is in the. I think all 3 of us have the same mindset and the same mentality. So we are control freaks.
What's the mentality? Control freaks?
Yeah.
What do we want to
Speak
control?
for yourself.
We
What do we
just
wanna
want
control?
everything correct. I mean, you don't want anything or anybody on your job that's going to make you look bad.
I don't want anybody.
So
I don't
we
want anybody
manage.
to complain about my judgment.
Exactly.
If I use a sub and they complain about them, they're complaining about me, and I get mad.
Exactly. Or leaving a ladder I went to a job site today on Sunday, but I went to a job site today, and there was very windy up the top of the hill. There's a ladder leaned up against a gutter and a window under it. That's not good.
No.
So I took the ladder down, and then I called them. I didn't care if it was a Sunday. And I was like, who left the ladder? And they were like, well, we weren't the last ones there. I said, I don't give a dang. You are making me look bad. This is amateur hour, and it's going to reflect on me. What if it had fell and hit this window? I got a window to replace. Just little things. That aggravates me.
Or the customer will see it and say, is that gutter scratched? And now they see a scratch and
Yeah,
there's not
exactly.
one there, but they see it.
Yeah.
You have bad customers?
Well, I am usually the person that's bringing the liquid or bringing the gravel, and so no, it's important that I have a good relationship with our customers. Some of them are more difficult than others, but it's our job
Give
to
me an
manage
example.
that.
Give me an
Go ahead,
example.
give me an example.
Yeah, give me an
At 6
example.
o'clock in the morning, I've
Yeah.
got to have gravel today because I didn't know we were doing this, but now
Yeah.
Tucker
Well,
has
what-
changed the schedule and I got to be there at 10 o'clock. I need gravel.
You've got to manage that with different plants, and everybody that's running the plant has a different personality, and so you have to be able to.
This one you got to be nice to. This one you got to cuss.
Well, I mean, some of them want you to talk to them and say, "Hey, how's your day?" And some of them just want to say, "Hey, get me
Yeah.
the liquid here at 8 o'clock," and they want to hang up and get back to their job.
Some want $10.
I mean, no, not
Yeah.
necessarily, but you know, it's
Well, they
just
do.
it's a lot. It's just a lot to make. You're managing the personalities of different people, and then you've got drivers. I mean, we have 28 drivers that we have to manage. All of them having different personalities. So
You'll have 28 drivers in the morning Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock.
yes,
Yeah.
You know
Now-
who we appreciate that people don't realize? We appreciate that subcontractor that we don't use all the time because we've got a regular one and we feel loyal to them, but we call them on occasions and they always just go ahead and do it. And you appreciate that guy you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? And we know who those are, and they know who they are, but they go ahead and do it because they're good people.
But
They're
they
not
know we're
really-
loyal to that person. They also know we're loyal to them second.
Well,
Or we're gonna use
I
them.
just think some of those people are just good people.
Yeah.
And that's probably who we probably should be using. But we can't. We're just loyal to these others. But what about money? When you run out of money, don't you? How do you blow through 47,000 a month and 28 drivers? That's
you got to manage.
you're
it well.
blowing through $400,000 a month.
We have great drivers. I couldn't do it without the guys that drive for me. And it's weird because every year we kind of have a rotation where we lose some of the newer people. But I have a core group of guys that have been with me for a while, and I lean on them a lot to help me manage some of this. And I mean, our goal is to not lose any, but you're ultimately always going to lose a couple of people. I mean, I had drivers leaving, going to different professions this year, which was very different for me. I had a guy that was a nurse, and he left to go back to nursing. And I had a guy that could microsurface, and that's something that is a skill that not a lot of people have.
Truck driver / microsurfacer.
Yeah, he was. And so a company called him in Alabama and said, please come back. And so that's something that I've not really dealt with before, because you're losing people, but they're actually going to better themselves. So you can't fault them for that.
No, but we can still be mad.
I can still be mad, you're right.
Yeah, still be mad.
Because, it's hard to train. It's just hard to train drivers. We do a difficult job. Working on the side of I-75 is not something that any driver can just go out and do. I mean, they need some experience to do that.
Well, not only that, you got to send in that insurance form to that company so they can send it in to that other person, and so
Right.
they can document that you got to. Golly, don't you hate all that? That's what I'm saying. Why would y'all want to do that, being women? That's what we have to do. Y'all don't have to do that. Why do you want to do this?
I have to do it for my business.
Yeah, but why not just marry some rich guy?
Because we're independent, and I
Is
don't
it
want to
worth
rely
that?
on somebody to. Well, there's
which
just
is
so many
worse?
rich
Which
people
is
out
worse?
there. I
Which
hate
is
to be
worse?
indebted to somebody. I would hate to be under somebody's thumb just because they give me a ring or have the money. I'd be bored to death.
I think there are just some people that have this internal drive that no matter what, they're going to be doing something. I mean, I try
Is
to.
it internal drive or is it internal uncomfortableness?
No, it's a drive. I mean,
For what?
I'm comfortable and I'm.
Driving for what?
I don't know. I just can't sit still. I mean, I will go and try to relax after the end of the
Are you
day.
a Gemini?
No, I'm a Leo.
Me too.
And
My wife's a Leo.
I will go.
Isn't that weird?
I'll try to relax and I'll tell myself, you're not going to get up for the next 15 minutes. You're just going to sit here. Right now that the weather's pretty, I'll go lay by the pool and, just say, I'm going to take this 15 minutes. Then I'll start looking at the pool and I'm like, oh, I need to clean the pool. I got to get up. I've got to find the
My
pool
wife
skimmer.
cannot watch a 30-minute show without getting up 17 times.
Now,
She's a Leo too.
it's just
You know,
something in
men,
there.
have you ever noticed men Leos are not like that? Only women Leos.
I don't,
Have you ever noticed
I don't
that?
know that many men Leos, but I have met several female Leos that are pretty much the same as me.
Usually women that are in business are Virgos.
So, if you as a man, would you want to have a sugar mama? And would you still be working if you had a sugar mama?
No,
You wouldn't be?
no.
I just don't think I could handle.
You could marry a guy that would let you be independent. Independence doesn't come with money; it comes with the mind.
Yeah.
I think that you are searching. If I was to be a psychologist,
Searching, huh?
yeah, I think you are after. I think you need appreciation for what you do.
That's
You know what
called
I'm saying?
words of
Yeah.
affirmation,
Yeah.
5 love
Right,
languages.
right. I think that's what she's after, and you deserve it. You're doing good. Really. I mean, you came from wallpaper hanging to equal to me. So, in short order.
Well, I would love to hear from my nephews, that I'm doing something right since I raised them. But yeah, sometimes it's like doing this to even get a hey, thank you.
No, but believe me, they know.
Yeah.
They know.
I mean, but you can look at that. You can look at her story and say, okay, since the 9th grade, she's been hanging wallpaper and she started this construction business and now she's been successful. It's similar stories. I worked when I was 15. My mom was like, I cannot afford to buy you a car. You're going to have to work. So I started working so that I could save the money so that I could have a car in my driveway until I was 16. I mean, it's just that internal drive.
I think you like security.
Probably.
So you found your new calling,
What?
psychologist. Retire and be a psychologist.
No, I just think that we all have to have a why. If you figure out the why, then you can figure out how to get it.
Well, we were taught different things, I think, growing up, that the new generation was not.
Your problem is you're smarter than most men that you would meet, and so that you can't live with them not doing something that's the wrong way, because you're mostly smarter than the guys you would hang out with,
Like the
or
ladder.
at least
against
equal.
us. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
true. Yeah, Norman's smart. I couldn't live with him if he wasn't smart. He's got
I don't know
HBR Power
him, do you?
Sports.
Oh, that's right. He's got a nice building, doesn't he? Nice
He's
facility.
opening a second location in Athens,
He's across the street from.
Johnson Park.
No, that guy that does. Don't tell me.
Cleanup guy.
Yeah, don't tell me. I know his name. God, what's his name? I know him like a book.
The black guy on the corner?
No.
Oh,
The one
guy,
on
I
the other
don't know.
side.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, buddy. If you ever needed anything done, you get him. It's done.
I don't know his name.
I
We're in
can't
the old
think
car
of
park
his
business.
name.
Old car park business?
Ashley.
Yeah. Mark.
Mark Ashley. Yeah.
Was that car parts or car?
No, he
No,
cleans
the
up.
building. It was car parts.
It was
building?
car parts.
Todd
yeah.
Dugan's dad's.
Todd Dugan's dad on that.
They still do. We just went to it.
Yeah, they used to deliver Mighty Auto Parts. Mighty Auto Parts. You ever miss Chattanooga?
I don't really.
None, no connections?
No.
Old news, history?
Yeah, I came to Cleveland because I met James, and you know, he had a dump truck. That's how we got started in trucking. He saved money while he was in Desert Storm and purchased a dump truck. Bought his own and started driving, and you know, it was James Davis Trucking forever, and then we changed the name to TriStar when I kind of took over more a bigger role. So, no, I don't miss Chattanooga. If you drive to Chattanooga and you've got I-75 and Hamilton Place are having traffic, and then...
You know, I've been even staying more on this side of town. I just can't hardly stand to go that way anymore, unless I just have
That's what I'm
to.
saying. I don't travel to anywhere. A 3-mile radius, and that's it. And mostly because I want to keep our tax dollars local. I don't go to Chattanooga. But secondly, Chattanooga defunded their police in 2021,
Yeah.
$2 million. So I don't want to
Yeah.
give them any tax dollars. So everybody wants to complain about we don't have enough money to do this, this, and that. Well, quit spending your money everywhere else. Keep it local. I've always been an advocate of local, and I didn't want to be a hypocrite whenever I was retired from the
Right.
commission.
Did you
So I
read?
continue.
Y'all read the Quick Burger?
Yes.
Well, it's good, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's good.
We stop there after school sometimes because it's right by Black Fox.
How long does it take to get to order?
I mean, it just depends on how many people decide to stop over there.
You gotta be
What time-
patient.
what
It's
time you
made to
go by?
order.
10 or 15 minutes.
What time do you go there?
3.
But it's made to order.
Yeah.
It is good.
It's
It's
custom
good. What do you
made.
get?
The little cheeseburgers and a large sweet tea.
No fries?
No.
They've got great sweet tea.
They got good fries. I went in there about a few weeks ago, and the guy said, "What do you have?" And I said, "What was it I had last time?" I thought I
The
was
chef
sitting like
and
he
the-
would remember what I had last
The
time.
chef and the Quick Burger have the best sweet tea. All the little mom and pops.
Chick-fil-A has the best sweet tea.
You know, a good place to eat is that Stacy's in Charleston.
I don't
I haven't
know
been
if I've
there
eaten
yet. I passed by it the other day going to a job.
You go across the railroad tracks.
yeah.
It's
Right there on
good.
the corner. It says soul food.
Good. It's
That's what it says.
just fried chicken, meatloaf, potatoes,
Yeah.
corn, whatever. It's good.
I think the sign says soul food on it. but
You
yeah,
want
it's good.
soul food and entertainment, but it's just one guy that runs it. But,
Oh, really?
But you won't eat anything better in Cleveland. I mean, it's good.
Oh, you're up there a lot of it.
I've been up there a lot, but it's good. Boy, we got more Mexican restaurants, don't we? There's one on every corner. I ate one today. Where y'all eat breakfast?
I don't eat breakfast.
I have a bar for breakfast.
I drank
Protein shake.
I drank a glass of milk with oatmeal in it. I pour oatmeal in my drink and drink it with a teaspoon of cacao. So what do y'all eat? So besides all of this, y'all have to say, what do y'all want for supper?
Yeah, I mean, we try to cook at home.
We gotta keep skinny figures, dude.
I mean, what do
Otherwise,
you
we're
say?
trauma.
Can you? I always thought, what would it
Attacked.
be like to be a woman and have to say, okay, I'm going to have to ask somebody what they want for dinner for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's our job.
we try to cook a couple times a week, but you know, we're gone for sports all the time.
Will you eat out?
We'll just eat Chick-fil-A or something like that. We can now. It's life-changing. We can Uber food to my house.
Oh wow.
How much more is that?
It's probably about $10 more because you've got to pay the fee and then you have to pay a tip too. for
What
them
is
to
the
Uber.
tip? Is it say what? So if you what would you Uber?
The tip is based on a percentage of whatever the food cost is.
Well, say a family of what, 4?
We have 5 in my family.
So let's say it's what, 7 o'clock at night, and what are we going to eat?
Right.
And
yeah.
everybody's going to go to bed around 10:30, and everybody's got to take their baths, and
It takes an hour for them to get the food to my house.
so you have to. But what's
So
the
you have to
difference?
still plan ahead.
But wouldn't it be cheaper just to order a pizza?
Pizza, they don't deliver pizza to my house. You have to Uber it, which is the crazy thing. Pizza Hut doesn't deliver, but you can Uber pizza to the house.
Now that's the logistics.
She's so far out.
I'm so far out. And Walmart delivers groceries now too. So I mean, we're in 2024. down there in Spring
It
Place.
still costs me $10.
Yeah.
To get my groceries delivered to the office in the middle of town, and they're 2 miles from Walmart. But I don't have time to go shop.
It's something we didn't have 2 years ago, so I'm thankful for it. It's not something we do all the time, but in a desperate situation, if nobody wants to cook.
I would just cook a bunch of beans and eat that for 3 days, and then cook spaghetti and eat that for 3 days.
I know, but I've got kids that are picky, so
Are they easygoing? They're flexible.
pretty much.
You don't have kids, do you?
No, I just raised the 3 boys, my nephews.
They don't live with you, though, do they?
No, they're 25, 26, 28.
What is that, your brother's kids?
I raised him too, though.
Oh,
He lived upstairs and I kept his kids.
no,
No, we all got along.
no problem.
Now, we did cook today before I came over here. We had smoked chicken and hamburgers and steak for Memorial Day. We just went ahead and cooked a bunch of
On the
stuff.
grill?
On the smoker. So we smoked a bunch of stuff for just to eat on tomorrow so that nobody has to do anything.
Boy, it's tough, isn't it? All this stuff. Phew.
Life.
What are you
6.
going to eat tonight?
I have, what did I have laid out? I think I have chicken.
What do you mean, just for you and
Norman.
just for you and Norman?
Yeah, but we'll eat on it for 2 or 3 days.
But you got it laid out, so you got
I
to
gotta
cook it. Well, how will you cook it?
I don't know yet. I'll Google something on the way. I'll put chicken recipe and see what pops up.
That's why I smoke everything. It's great. Just buy you a smoker and put it all on there.
Yeah, and then you can just put it on high or low and let it.
Well, you got to decide what temperature. So it's normally about 350.
But it wouldn't matter if you were 30 minutes late or 20 minutes late with that, right?
Yeah, it'll be dry. You
Yeah,
have to
too dry.
watch it. Yeah.
So what are you going to eat tonight?
I don't know. My wife will have something.
Good lady.
See, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, good lady.
Yeah, I should have said the 3 best looking women in Cleveland. My wife's good looking.
Yes, she is.
Well, listen, anything else?
No.
How long have we been? What time is it?
I don't know. Hey, I would
6:30.
encourage your viewers, though. Stay
yeah.
local. Eat local. Patron the small mom and pops stores of every kind. You know, go downtown and get some clothing at the downtown venues. What's the one down there?
Joe V.
All of them. All of them.
Encourage people to shop at Joe V's. I went in there at his place to buy a shirt. In fact, that's where I bought this shirt. And had to fix his computer while I was there.
There you go.
And I don't know anything about computers, but it was unplugged, so
Yeah.
crazy. When you live on Keith Valley, aren't you just about as close to go the other direction to shop?
So we're on Spring Place,
Past Keith Valley on the right.
past Keith Valley.
You're not to Claris,
No, almost though.
almost.
We do sometimes, but I mean, I still prefer to go to Cleveland or now that Walmart delivers, I just order my groceries. And then if we get to go to Publix, we're like, oh, wow, look at all this new stuff they have.
North end of town. I don't
Yeah.
go there unless I have a job.
I mean,
that's where we
the
go.
South End needs a Publix, and they need all kinds of stuff down there. So
The South End may get a Publix.
Yeah, it's based on per capita. So the more housing goes in, the more these people will do their little calculations, and we'll get it eventually.
They're coming.
And then
I know
everybody's
for
gonna
a
be
fact.
mad.
I know for a fact.
But then everybody's going to be mad because we're overpopulated and they don't want the growth, but they want all the amenities. They just don't want the road.
You know where I went the other day?
Where?
I went down Wildwood Avenue, and across from Rush Funeral Home is that little 12-foot wide Mexican store. And that was the cleanest store I think I've ever been in.
And they've got everything.
They've got
if you want
everything.
a different kind of meat, go there.
I got 2 cookies and sat on the porch and just sat there and drunk a Coke. They had that real Coke with Mexican, sugar.
Yep.
And she didn't speak a bit of English, so I didn't have to deal with her.
And there's 2 Mexican trucks there on the right at the old Reimer's fruit
Yeah.
stand, and then at the other corner. So there's 2 that you got to go in between.
And
they're awesome.
everybody's just working and living. they've got it figured out, hadn't they?
I've got houses behind that I'm building, so I go there a lot. Yep. It's good.
I'm buying 2 lots on Blythe, I think.
Okay.
I've been waiting on. Hey, listen, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.